Five stages of spiritual awakening. Have you ever felt a quiet shift in your life? Like something inside you was changing, even if you couldn't fully explain it yet. Like the world started to look the same, but feel different. That's often how awakening begins. And here's something important to understand: spiritual awakening is not linear, it's not a straight path from point A to point B. It moves more like a spiral, like a strand of DNA. Some people move slowly, some move quickly, some loop back through familiar territory, and every journey is uniquely coded. Still, there are common stages many people experience. Today, we're going to explore five stages of spiritual awakening, not as rules, not as a checklist, but as mirrors, so you can recognize where you might be right now. Stage 1: Identification with the ego. At the beginning of the journey, most people live entirely inside their thoughts. Thoughts feel like facts. Emotions feel like identity. There's little awareness that thoughts are happening, rather than being who you are. In this stage, life feels reactive. Things happen to you. Stress triggers defensiveness. Pain turns into anger or withdrawal. And trauma often reinforces the belief that you're powerless. Here, the ego holds tightly to its story. I am my past. I am what happened to me. This is just how life is. Seeing others clearly is difficult because perception is filtered through personal wounds and projections. This isn't failure, it's unconsciousness. And awakening begins the moment you sense there might be more than this. Stage 2: Ego dissolution. At some point, the old identity starts to crack. Beliefs you once held with certainty begin to loosen. Labels stop feeling solid. The story of who you are no longer fits. This is often called ego death. Not a physical death, a psychological one. The false self begins to dissolve. Ideas about gender, status, religion, success, and meaning start falling away. And what's left can feel like emptiness. But here's the shift. A new awareness appears, an observer, a part of you that can watch thoughts without being trapped inside them. For the first time, you realize you are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are not the story. This stage can feel disorienting, but it's also deeply freeing because space has been created. Stage 3: The search. Once that space opens, something else emerges: curiosity, longing, a pull toward truth. This is the search phase. People often turn to books, teachers, videos, meditation, prayer, not out of trend, but out of genuine hunger. Questions rise naturally. Who am I really? Why am I here? What is consciousness? What is God? This isn't just intellectual, it's emotional, somatic, soul-driven. Teachings that resonate feel lighter, like relief. Each insight brings a subtle sense of remembering, as if something ancient inside you is waking back up. Stage 4: Emergence of the authentic self. Eventually, pretending becomes exhausting. You can't keep wearing masks that no longer fit. You can't keep saying yes to what feels wrong. Your authentic self begins to surface. This often looks messy from the outside. Jobs change, relationships shift, old roles fall away. You may feel like you're dismantling your life, but what's really happening is alignment. Old emotional wounds resurface, not to punish you, but to be released. The body recalibrates, energy shifts. This phase can feel intense, but it's also honest. You're returning to who you were before the world told you who to be. Stage 5: Living in alignment. Eventually, something settles. Not perfection, not bliss all the time, but coherence. Mind, body, and soul begin working together. You stop fighting yourself. Self-compassion replaces self-judgment. Acceptance replaces resistance. You become your own safe place, and that compassion naturally extends outward. You see others more clearly, not as enemies, not as obstacles, but as fellow travelers. You begin to feel your connection to nature, to the earth, to life itself. Not as an idea, as a lived experience. You can hold both light and shadow without needing to reject either. This is alignment, not escaping humanity, but inhabiting it fully. If this resonated with you, consider sharing it with someone who may be on this path too. And if you feel called, leave your experience in the comments. Until next time, trust the spiral. It always knows where it's taking you.